In real estate, what does the word contingent mean? That's a question I'm going to answer today, and that video is coming right up. Hey, welcome. I'm glad you're back. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Andy Elliott. I work with DeSelms Real Estate here in Williamson County, Tennessee, and we serve the Nashville area. Remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified of new videos as they come along. Let's talk about contingencies. If you're looking at listings online and you see the word contingent, all that means is the seller has accepted an offer, but there are conditions that need to be met or satisfied before the contract can move forward to closing. That's the basic definition of the word. But because you can make almost anything a contingency, it can get more complicated than that. And what's more, on some sites, instead of the word contingent, you may see the words under contract or pending. In a basic sense, they all mean the same thing. An offer has been submitted, negotiated, and accepted. But that's where the similarities end. I know, it can get confusing, but let me unpack these for you real quick, piece of cake. Let's break down three terms: under contract, contingent, and pending. Under contract is just a generic term that means the seller has accepted a contract and doesn't tell us anything else. Contingent means that there's conditions that need to be met or satisfied before a contract can move forward, and pending means that all the conditions have been met and everybody's just waiting for the loan and legal documents to get done prior to closing. Let's jump back into contingencies and clear that up once and for all. A contingency can be anything, literally anything, as long as both parties agree. And a contingency can flow either way, from the buyer or the seller. For example, a seller can accept a contract contingent upon them finding suitable housing. What that means is they ain't leaving until they find a house that they like. Or a buyer can put in a contract contingent upon them selling their home first, sale of home contract. That usually takes place when they need the proceeds of sale from the first place to buy the second place. The reason this may be important to you is this: if you find a house you like but it's contingent, you need to know what the contingency is to understand if you have a chance of getting the thing. For example, you find a home you really love, but it's under contract with the sale of home contingency. You can submit your own offer, hopefully less complicated. If the seller accepts your offer, then he can turn around to buyer number one and say, hey, you got 24 to 48 hours to remove your sale of home contingency or I'm moving on. This is called right of first refusal. If buyer number one can't or won't agree to that, the house is yours. That's just one example. Go over any contingencies with your agent if you have one that can really work to your benefit. Let's quickly go through some of the more common purchase and sale contract contingencies so you'll know what to expect when you go under contract. These are typically reflected in the listing status. For example, under contract still showing financing. The contingencies that are generally a part of a contract, though there can be more, include number one, a financial contingency. If ultimately you can't get a loan for some reason, a denial letter from your lender will essentially get you out of the deal. Number two is an inspection contingency. Having a home inspection, in my view, is critical. And if issues reveal themselves after the home inspection and you and the seller can't come to terms on how to resolve those issues, the contract terminates. I can tell you that repair requests based on home inspections during the contract negotiations causes the most friction and heat. Number three is a title contingency. If the title search comes back with ownership issues, again, you can opt out. I typically see these pop up where there's heirs or relatives involved in selling an estate after there's been a death in the family. And these are the things that'll pop up out of the blue. Rarely does anybody see these things coming. Number four is the appraisal contingency, and this is a biggie. With the way the market has accelerated over the past few years, from time to time a house won't appraise for what it sold for. And 9 out of 10 times the seller will reduce the price to match the appraisal, or the buyer will just walk. The other remedy is the buyer can bring additional cash to the table. This rarely happens, though it does happen. And when it does occur, it's usually for one of two reasons. Number one, the buyer really loves the house, it's just perfect for them. And number two, an unforgiving timeline that won't allow any other options. In other words, the buyer just can't start over. So those are the basic contract contingencies, and there's others like termites, radon, mold, lead-based paint, things like that. By now you should know what contingencies are and how they benefit you. The final word to think about is pending. If you see pending, that usually means game over. Everybody just waiting for the loan to go through. If you see pending, move on to the next house. Here's the wrap up. The basic contract contingencies, they benefit you. Stipulated contingencies like sale of home, things like that, they tend to gum up contracts. So if you'll use stipulated contingencies sparingly, you'll do just fine. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it. Remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, give me a like, and leave a comment, will you? Talk to you soon.